That's the spirit we need, and that's the spirit we want to see on April 5th, right back here. All right, you know another group that maybe isn't always traditionally aligned with the left, but is getting totally screwed by this administration is? Veterans! No respect from this administration for veterans. Right now, our next speaker, Bryan Winter, retired U.S. Army Sergeant from the Sons of Liberty and also a part of Mass 5051. Bryan, come on up here. How y'all doing tonight, Boston?
So I just want to comment, there's a young lady over here who's dressed like the Statue of Liberty, and it's amazing. So we want to see more of that, please. Dark times call for reflection, and I hope you'll give me a minute to reflect out loud. Louder! Dark times call for reflection, and so I hope you'll give me a minute to reflect out loud. My name is Bryan Winter, and I am a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. Me and my brother joined the U.S. Army about the same time in a time of peace in 1999 as enlisted men. We joined for college money, and we saw it as a way to center ourselves in the world. It was a selfish act, not a selfless one. When I returned from the service, our uncles gave both me and my brother a gift, a folded American flag each. Even then, I did not have a deep appreciation for the country. Patriotism wasn't something I even thought about. I was a young man returning from a horrible and divisive war, concerned with connecting with old friends, getting a job, and finding love. So this flag, folded so neatly, went into a low drawer, and I forgot about it. Years later, in 2018, Donald Trump held a news conference with the Premier of Russia, Vladimir Putin, in Helsinki, Finland. Yeah, fuck Putin. I hadn't really paid attention to Trump until then, like many Americans. He stood behind that podium festooned with the symbols of high office, and he publicly disavowed the evidence of covert Russian election interference on his behalf to protect his fragile ego. I was disgusted. This was a betrayal of the intelligence community, who dedicate their lives to the defense of the nation. Putin also made an offer to Trump on stage. He suggested an extradition exchange. The Russian Federation would hand over intelligence officers who had been involved in the election interference, and in exchange, the U.S. would hand over businessman Bill Browder and Ambassador Michael McCall. Neither of these men had committed crimes. Bill Browder, in particular, is high on Putin's enemies list. He is an investor-turned-activist, using his wealth and connections to lobby for the passage of Magnitsky Acts, named for his murdered lawyer, which allowed for governments around the world to sanction human rights abusers. These acts threw sand in the gears of the Russian war machine and helped give the brave people of Ukraine a fighting chance in a brutal and genocidal war that they did not choose. It took an act of the Senate a few days later to prevent Trump from extraditing a man with impeccable moral character who has dedicated his life and fortune to the defeat of evil. This was a betrayal of our moral principles. We should always stand for human rights and justice and against tyrants with imperialist dreams. We should stand with the heroes among us who take on that same quest and ask for nothing in return. It only took a minute of real attention for me to realize that the President of the United States was a spiritual traitor to the American idea and ideal. I didn't vote for him, but I was ashamed that I didn't see it earlier. Even though people had warned me, I just wasn't listening. I took the flag out of that drawer, now wrinkled and faded from neglect, and placed it on the wall. I will never replace it or iron it or move it, because I want to have this reminder for the rest of my days that negligence through ignorance is still negligence. It was my ignorance, along with the ignorance of so many others, that allowed a man this ethically bankrupt to achieve the power he now abuses at our expense. So my question for you is this. How many of us have folded flags in our drawers? How many can be persuaded to bring them to light, to display both our pride and shame? I look out onto this field, and I see dozens of different philosophies and identities, expressed in bold colors, buffeted by a wind that sweeps across the continent. This gathering is but one among hundreds or thousands, flags gallantly streaming, each demanding that we rise and become better versions of ourselves. Today, while you stand here, thousands march on D.C., the Sons of Liberty among them, but also many others. I haven't figured out a way to put the pauses yet, apologies. These flags, as diverse as they are, sing in a single voice. This is what 5051 is about. Our dishonorable opponents do not understand what a flag actually is. They see it as bravado, it's muscular and loud, it's in your face, it's aggressive. Underneath, it's nihilistic, cynical, and small. They say America first, not because they are patriots, but because they are selfish, as I once was. Their vision for America is a dark one. It is a nation where the strong prey on the weak, where those who are different are mocked, and where hatred is allowed to gain purchase in the American heart. While they beat police officers with flagpoles on the steps of the Capitol, we will use it to defend the weak, the vulnerable, and the huddled masses yearning to be free. These sacred symbols of the Republic do not belong to them, they belong to us. And we intend here today, and for all days forward until the sun no longer burns, to reclaim them. We are now 7 weeks into this administration, and America's moral standing and authority is eroding. Our economy teeters on the edge of recession. Our allies are closing their doors to our goods. Our adversaries are advancing their covetous designs on Ukraine and Taiwan. Trump's threats against the world multiply, with nations like Greenland, Canada, Mexico, and Panama thinking us less as friend and more as foe. How long, I ask you, until our friends put armies on our borders and give the America First movement what it really desires? A world where everyone else is an enemy and where they are permitted to take what they want. MAGA divides us with distractions while they dismantle the government, raise taxes on us through tariffs to pay for tax cuts for oligarchs. Who, also in their ignorance, think they will be spared if they kiss the ring and pay homage to a real estate grifter, draft dodger, felon, adulterer, and tax cheat who would be king. Just last week, feels like forever ago, but just last week, he fired 14,000 trans people from the service. Trump did it simply because he does not understand them, he does not care to understand them, and because he hates them. Unit commanders had to tell their troops that their comrades were being removed from service, not for cause, but because of who they were. A blow to military morale will be incalculable. The bonds within units are the strongest bonds a serviceman or woman can ever have in all of their lives. And with this one act, he has shattered it and left our soldiers, sailors, and airmen afraid and alone. I'd also like to note that it costs between $100,000 and $1 million to prepare a warfighter for combat. So this theatrical act of cruelty and dehumanization, it doesn't even make financial sense. He has literally ordered that we burn billions of dollars on the pyre of an un-American purity test to mollify a political base that wants spectacle and theater, not greatness and strength. He is now planning to cut 80,000 jobs from the VA. a system which is already under strain because of years of neglect and foreign wars. This is not a simple headcount adjustment, but a deliberate attempt to sabotage the system so they can sell off the pieces to the highest bidder. Tell me this. Why would anyone wish to risk death and dismemberment for the nation when there is no assurance that they will be cared for when they return? Why would anyone choose service when its leaders lead in such a valueless and feckless fashion, and for causes that do nothing but promise misery, suffering, and death at home and abroad? It's not the country I fought for, and it's not the country my friends gave up their limbs for. They do this because they do not understand service or sacrifice or honor. These concepts are foreign to them, and it is in their nature to destroy that which they do not understand. I am but one man, and I'm an ordinary one at that. I did not achieve a high rank, and my power is limited. But together, multiplied and united under a sea of courageous colors, we can hold back this monstrous tyranny and make right that which was broken. I vowed over 20 years ago when I was young, stupid, and vain to defend our Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I would ask you to join me and swear that same oath in the presence of friends and the symbols that matter to you most. Do this truly and in your heart. Commit yourself to something greater than yourself, though we do not know the shape of things to come. And I promise you, that every ideal upon this field will be respected and cherished and included in the more perfect union that will be within our power to create. Thank you, Boston. You're absolutely lovely.